yeah, if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, Wendy Y. Bailey.
Hi, everyone, and welcome again. I'm so honored and excited to introduce you to our guest for this episode. She is a fiction and nonfiction writer. On the fiction side, she writes books that are psychological thrillers, suspense-filled mystery novels, and has a book blog. And then on the nonfiction side, she's the author of 5 books all around making sure you have love in your business. Welcome, Michele PW.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. See, I know you from years ago when we connected on social media. Then we were at the same conference together several years ago as well. And you were always like a copywriter. What's happening with you in the world of copywriting since we talked about nonfiction and we talked about fiction? What's going on with you there? What are you doing these days?
So I still have a copywriting company. That's what I built up, and it is a done for you. So we're happy to do done for you. But it was actually copy that got me inspired to write the nonfiction books, because I created a new version of copywriting, which is I call love-based copywriting, because I had so many people say to me, so many of my clients and associates say to me, I really hate the traditional copywriting, how hypey and salesy and all that other stuff. So I ended up birthing this whole love-based copywriting. And then from there, that inspired the rest of the series, because I started to realize the more I spoke about it, how much our business and our lives we built on a foundation of fear versus love. And the fiction has been something that's driven me my entire life. I taught myself to read when I was 3 years old because I wanted to write fiction so badly. So I really writing is just always
a natural extension of your love of reading.
Exactly. Yes. And it was just, so I always wanted to create stories. I always wanted to use words. So it was really writing copy was kind of a natural thing and then writing nonfiction. So it was all very natural. Now I'm even though when I was in high school, I said I never wanted to be a journalist because everyone would say, why do you be a journalist? I don't want to be a journalist. But now I'm also the fiction category director of Podcast Magazine. So never say never.
I know you're busy. You have a lot going on. I'm curious. It seemed like a natural extension, like you said, for you to do the fiction writing. And how has that been for you? Because it's a different kind of writing altogether. And you're writing psychological thrillers and mysteries and suspense stories. How has that shift happened for you, and what did you do to really jump into it in that way?
So I've always been writing fiction and, off and on. And then, I wrote the first 2 books that I published. I wrote back in, I guess, the early 2000s. So I wrote, and that was, so if we go back to the early 2000s, the internet was barely there. I mean, we did have email, but that was about it. There was really no, I think I think we're getting to the point where the commercials are doing www and then the web address. That was like the big thing.
Way back when.
Yeah, way back when. So at the time, it was basically traditional publishers still ruled the roost. So I had tried to get my fiction books. I actually found a publisher who was interested, and I found an agent. So, but then it didn't work, and then I just kind of lost my mojo and decided to go the copywriting route. Well, in the middle of that whole thing, Amazon, of course, became came out of nowhere to turn into the 100-pound, I should say, 1,000,000-pound gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
And in the process, though, they opened up the door to independents like me. Now, it still took me a while because I had a lot of mindset shifts to do. But finally, what happened was I got, actually what really happened is my mother died in 2015. And that was really what She was sick for years with cancer, and then she died. And that was really what just got me to realize, you know what, I have to make time for the books, because for so long it was always like I'd created this sort of identity where the fiction was always going to be like later, like I was going to I was going to build the copywriting company, make the money with the company, and then some magical time with unicorns and rainbows and this whole wonderful time and space to write the books would suddenly just drop in my lap. Well, that never happens. That just never happens.
Right.
So if you are putting a dream aside because you're pushing it off in the future because you think this magical time and energy and money is going to suddenly just drop in your lap, I would like to encourage all of you listening to
say that again. Now. It's not magical unicorns that are going to make it happen for you.
Exactly. It's just, even if it's only 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 15 minutes a day, actually 15 minutes a day is good, but even if you could just do 5 minutes, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, because I will say what happened, there's a lot of reasons that I kept trying to stop myself. And one of them was, if I start publishing the fiction, no one's going to want to work with me on the copywriting. This was like a very bad, toxic lie I told myself for a long time.
I was going to say, that's not necessarily true, is it? It's
not true. Yeah. No, it wasn't true at all. But it was something that it was actually a retired fiction author or a retired copywriter told me that years ago. And that just stuck with me. And it's not true. And quite honestly, what I found is the more I actually honored the fiction and made space for it, the more everything else worked, because I needed that creative outlet. Yeah. So the thing is that if you want to paint or ice skate, or especially if it's a creative pursuit, even if you can't, or jewelry making, even if you can't figure out how to make money with it, and you feel like, oh my God, I can't not do that because it's not making money, I would just invite you to still the 15 minutes a day, just find a little bit of time to do it, because even if you can't figure out how to make a business, that's okay. You can still, just honoring that creative side of you is going to make your business so much better.
Yeah, I love it. It's sort of bringing the whole person and all that you are to everything that you do, so you don't miss out on the parts that you've kind of set aside.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
I love that. I got to ask you, Michele PW, how did you get that name?
Oh, because my maiden name is Pariza and my married name is Wacek, and I wanted to keep all three, so I did. So Pariza is actually my middle name. That's how I changed it when I got married. Okay. And then of course, but Pariza, having a last name like Pariza or Wacek is difficult enough, even though they're only about 6 letters. So, but you can't pronounce it. All my life, nobody could pronounce it, nobody could spell it, and so that's why I thought, I finally thought, why don't I just go with Michele PW? And so.
Well, it's actually become a brand for you.
I know.
Whenever people reference you, or whenever I see you in the marketplace, I'm like, Michele PW.
Yes, it actually worked out better. And I wasn't going to carry it with the fiction, that's the thing. So, but I did. So because I thought, because I was just using my full name for fiction, but quite honestly, I think it's just better just to keep up with the Michele PW, because I think it's easier for people to find.
Yeah. Michele with 1 L and then PW. I love that. Yeah. So, we haven't talked about it a lot, but how do you incorporate love into business? And tell me a little bit more about that platform that you have.
Yes. So basically, when I say love, it's not romantic love or anything like that. So what it is it's all emotions kind of fall under either love or fear. So and then fear obviously is more than just fear.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, it's grief and anger and resentment and envy and all that other stuff. So it's like it's almost like comfortable and uncomfortable emotions. I mean, that's another way to look at it, but that's not quite. It's not quite. So what happened is, in order to persuade people to take action, you have to tap into their emotions. And so you have a choice. You can tap into fear-based emotions or love-based emotions. Mm-hmm. So that's how I started this whole thing, because I was trying to figure out, how can we persuade with love? How can we tap into love, and use love, based emotions instead of fear-based emotions to persuade, and for copy and for marketing and that kind of stuff. And then as I started to talk about it, that's when I realized that if you don't take time to feel your fear-based emotions, if you're constantly pushing it away or running from them or stuffing them down, they control you. because then you're taking action in order to not feel those emotions. So maybe you're starting, unwise, you're posting unwise things on Facebook, or you're starting fights, or you're gossiping, or you're drinking, or you're eating food that you shouldn't.
Bad
Yeah.
stuff.
So, because think about all the distractions you do in order to not feel your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just sitting and letting them feel. And so that's what it is. So that's kind of so it's like, how can you build your business where you are, where you can still feel all your emotions and still move forward powerfully? Because if you feel your emotions, then they go away. They don't. Emotions just want to be felt. So if you feel them, then you honor them, and then they go away, and then you can take action from a place of groundness and well, I don't want to say logic, but you know what I mean. But like, just you can look at things like objectively versus like in the grip of a strong emotion.
Awesome. I want to unpack that a little bit, but we kind of need to move on. I'm like, wow, that's juicy. That's really juicy. So we're going to take a break, Michelle, and when we come back, we're going to do our signature segment, Profitable Wisdom. Okay?
With over 20 years experience supporting clients in becoming organized, Lorianne Stepp, the clutterologist, understands the direct connection of physical clutter in the home with emotional confusion in the heart. Lorianne has a natural gift and finely honed skills for helping others rediscover the balance and harmony in their lives using basic feng shui principles. Her non-judgmental and compassionate conversations with her clients help them shape a new reality as she works to organize their home or office. This unique approach, combined with her ability to connect meaningfully with her clients, has earned her rave reviews from many well-respected publications. Whether you need to tackle one stressful pile of paper clutter or reorganize your entire home one room at a time, Lorianne has simple and affordable solutions for you to stay organized. Learn more about Lorianne and her inspiring work by visiting www.clutterologist.com today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Terry Levine, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
So hi, I'm Rodney Dow, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Michele PW, and you've tuned into Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, and review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode is live.
So welcome back. We've been talking with Michele PW. She is writer extraordinaire. She writes fiction and nonfiction, and she's really unpacked a lot of stuff for us around writing and how you can kind of get through and move through any obstacles and emotion when it comes to nonfiction writing as well. So, pay attention, you guys. If you want to be a writer, if you want to do anything creative, you've got to just do it. You just got to do it. So let's talk about profitable wisdom. The first question I always ask everyone is, who has had the greatest influence on you in your life?
So there's been a few people, but the one thing that I just keep thinking about is the quote from Einstein, which is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. At least I think Einstein said it. I've heard that Einstein didn't say all the quotes, but whoever said it was wise.
Someone in his realm said
yes.
It, sure.
So a very wise person said that, and I think it's Einstein. And I want to say that quote, even though it's not actually a person, because to me, that was kind of every time I've made a pivot in my business, it was because I finally just took a hard look at that, because the thing is that, I was stuck, you're kind of stuck. Like the first time I was stuck with copywriting, with building my copywriting company, I was just stuck at the same, like $50,000 a year. And I was just stuck at that level. And I kept thinking that I was doing different things, but I really wasn't. And then when I finally broke through is when I finally heard that quote and really felt it. And then also, that Seinfeld where George does everything opposite. And, he starts off and he's like unemployed and living at home and no girlfriend. And then he does everything the opposite. And then he's like working for the Yankees and has a girlfriend, although he's still living at home. But, and that's when I started to, so that's been kind of a guiding thing. And every single time I found myself stuck somewhere, and just like, when I moved from adding fiction, it's like, so, this idea, that's what finally has gotten me always to kind of kickstart me through the blocks when I'm still looking around and everything still looks the same, even though I have a desire for it to be different. I started thinking, okay, well, what am I doing that's the same action that I'm expecting the different results?
Yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. What's the best business advice you've ever received, Michele?
So that was from Dan Kennedy, quite honestly, who I followed for a long time. And so years ago when I was trying again so I started doing what you said, or what I said, I started when I was making the 50,000, I started doing everything different and I started to make more money. However, and I did break through 6 figures, which I was very happy about, but I still wanted to, I still felt like things were just not flowing and not going, and I really wasn't getting the traction. I mean, I was kind of barely over the 6-figure, and you and I both know when you're barely over the 6-figure mark, you can be working a lot more, but you've got bigger expenses. So you're actually not,
right.
you're not taking in.
You got more systems in place.
Yeah, and so it's like you go to the end of the day, and you're like, wait a second, I'm making less than I did when I was making 50,000. So what the heck is that about? So. And so I was really struggling, and I was really feeling bad, and I was really feeling like I was going to quit. And then he had this fax thing, this fax system. And so I get the fax one day, and it said in there that he knew a lot of wealthy entrepreneurs who it wasn't reflected in their bank account, but they're taking all the right action. And it just takes a few years for the actions to pay off in your bank account. And I said, all right, so I will continue and keep going. And then a couple months later, things started to really just sort of come together. And so I actually even told that to Dan, because when I went to a conference, because that was like, when you're in that moment, they always say, you could be a few steps away from seeing it, but still when when you've been trying for so long, and, it can feel really discouraging. You can feel like, what the hell is my problem? So having that little like, okay, maybe it's just, I am taking a lot of different actions, and I've been doing it for a while. Maybe I just need a little more time.
Yeah, it's the consistency and the commitment.
Yes.
Yeah, to stay the course. Yeah. What's your largest single sale you've ever made? What were the circumstances? What was the amount?
This is a hard one to answer for me, because I don't really make. I didn't really have like 100,000 or 150, but I've made that much, because what usually happens is, it's the way I was working is like it's from a retainer standpoint. So I would have a retainer clients, and we'd start off $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 a month, and also for some of them I had actually put percentages on. So I've had clients where I've made quite a bit of money from over the years, well over the 6-figure mark, but it didn't start out that way. It started off as a retainer with a 6-month commitment. And I always sold it on the monthly versus trying to say, okay, it's going to, you're going to pay me $50,000 when it's all said and done. I mean, they could figure it out if they wanted to, but
Yeah. I had another guest that said something similar. And what she realized was that over time, she had made, I can't remember the amount, let's just say $50,000 over time with one client.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how, it was he actually who looked at it that way. And given that you were able to shift from 5 figures to 6 figures to higher 6 figures, what for you represented the thing once you hit that milestone that you celebrated? It's not in the questions. I'm just kind of doing a little bit.
I didn't actually, that's part of my downfall actually, is I never actually celebrated. And that was part of what I had, because I was constantly I was for I built I did so that was one of my mistakes, I would say, is that I did make a lot of money, and then but I was never, it was like the more money I made, the more anxiety I felt. That was kind of what I was saying. It's like you bringing it in through fear, because all of a sudden, when you're first building up the money, it's like you have the anxiety. It's like you want to make more money. But then when you start making more money, now you suddenly have a second fear, which is, okay, you want to keep making more but then you have the fear that it's going to disappear. So all of a sudden I had brand new fears. So it took me, and it's really just in the last few years that it really just, I had to really unpack and unlearn about, bringing money in through fear-based emotions instead of bringing money in through love-based emotions. Because then when you bring it in that way, you really can feel like it's enough, and you can still grow from that process. So it's not about not growing. It's just about feeling like enough, and you're being supportive. And then of course you want more, but it took a lot of unpacking to get there.
Yeah. The thing that I know, just based on our conversation and knowing you, is you've always survived. You've always thrived. I had no idea you were going through these things over this time that we've known each other. And I'm clear that you've made some mindset shifts in the process of learning. What has helped you most in your mindset shifting when you thought about giving up? Like that time that you were like ready to give up, and you heard Dan Kennedy, saw his facts, and started to realize there were some things you could do differently, and there was a level of commitment you needed to have. What has helped you in times like that to move through it, to still be here?
I think it really, after, when it all comes and says and done, it's really moving through the emotions. Because the thing is that when you're stuck in the fear and anxiety and worry and all of that, because that's something that, that's something that I know some people have more anger issues. I don't really have anger issues. I have more the worry. I'm more on the worry and anxiety side. So the more that I was able to just still take action and feel those emotions, that's the thing. It's like eventually it's not a fast process, but it's worth it, because once you can start living in peace, then you can start. So then once you're kind of like, because that's what I mostly am. I don't really worry like I did at all. And most of the time, the emotion I feel is just peace. So when you come from that emotion, now you can take a hard look at your habits and other things, and you can be more honest with yourself, because you're not driven by, it's like you can't, it's like you can say, okay, well, maybe I need to, like one of the things that I changed during this whole COVID thing was, I when COVID first hit, I don't know if you remember this, it's like everybody's like, oh my God, we got to do a live stream a day and an email day. And I'm just like, I'm not doing any of that. So for the first few weeks, I didn't really do much, because it was, it was a lot to kind of process and go through. But then what ended up happening after a few weeks is that I got a new fiction idea, and I actually wrote that in 3 months. So, and now I'm working on the second one. So I became more productive, but it didn't start out that way. So what ended up happening was, after I got the idea and I had cleared out the emotions, I could take a hard look. It's like, okay, so maybe I need to, change some writing habits and become more, do this and do this and do this. And without the emotion that's blocking you, you can take those actions.
Yeah. How do you suggest someone actually look at their emotions and deal with them so that they can move through them?
So the first thing to start is to try to observe them. So it's like, when somebody, so rather than stopping your action, because that's kind of hard to do, the first thing is to observe. So because you'll start to see trends. So like if you've got an anger issue, you're going to say, like, somebody says XYZ, and you immediately yell at them, or somebody says something and you immediately, go into worry, and you kind of spin around, and that kind of thing. So the first thing to do is to kind of observe your reaction. And then once you've observed your reaction, then the next piece is you can stop that reaction. So you can stop spinning into worry, or you can stop yelling, you can stop yourself from yelling or doing something like this. And what's going to happen the first time you try to stop it is it's going to be like a shock to your system, and it's going to be really hard. But that's where the magic is, because if you can hold that, if you can just feel the emotion instead of like immediately running into the action, then that's what's going to allow you to start to move through it.
Awesome. So what's your greatest personal accomplishment outside of your business?
Probably stopping. I mean, I had such a terrible worry. I mean, I was so terribly full of worry and anxiety for so long. And so I think really moving to a place where I very seldom worry. I'm an Enneagram 6, if anybody's familiar with that, but 6s are all about worry and fear. And so yeah, that's probably, and so I know how painful it is to be really trapped in that kind of hell. So that's always something that I like to talk about anyways. But yeah, I would say worry, mastering my worry is, and really just not moving to a place where it's no longer controlling me.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. Like
I'm sure once you made that shift, it was life-changing for you in terms of everything you do.
Yeah.
I have a similar experience. I knew fear was sort of my best friend. I was always riding in the car with fear. They were always with me. It was always with me. And I got to a point where I knew it was fear, but I didn't call it that. But when I understood it and called it that, then I could get the help I needed. Yes. You know what I mean? So I get it. Like, I totally get it. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, I want you to share your parting thought with everyone. Okay. Add some zeros to your bottom line. Backed by popular demand is Supersize Your Selling, the 7-day sales challenge for coaches, speakers, industry experts, and marketplace influencers. Get ready to grow confident in your selling. Practice selling with grace and ease. Discover how to convert more ideal clients. Shatter your sales fears. Overcome objections effortlessly. Activate income acceleration in your business. This activation challenge features daily bursts of content, easy to complete assignments, sales coaching with none other than yours truly, Wendy Y, downloadable sales script, ongoing accountability and support. It's because it is designed to help you win. Sign up now at www.supersizeyourselling.com. That's www.supersizeyourselling.com, and we'll see you there.
Hello, I'm Rhonda Height, and you are tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so that you are notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, my name is Ann Betts, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Please comment, like, review, and subscribe now so you know when the next episode is live.
Hi, I am Donetta D. Maury, and you are tuned into Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with Wendy Y. Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you will be notified with the next episode go live.
Okay, welcome back. We've been talking with Michele PW. She's a fiction and nonfiction writer. She shared a lot of nuggets along the way, but is there one thing, Michele, that you would like to leave our viewers and listeners with?
Yes, don't compare yourself to me. So,
be who you are, right?
Yes, or don't, and I mean, it's not just me, just anybody. Mm-hmm. So I know if you're just starting out, or if you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling this, it can feel real. You can be looking around, and Facebook and Twitter, it's terrible about this. You can look around and say everybody else has got it together and I don't.
That's not just if you're just starting out. That's
it's always, yes. So comparing, but it doesn't do you any good. And so the thing is that I really want you to feel like wherever you're at, it's perfect, and to just don't try to do too much, and just move forward one step at a time, and they can be tiny steps or they can be big steps, but, quite honestly, 1% improvement every day, after 1 year, you've improved over 300%. So the thing is that this doesn't have to be, and a year is nothing. So, you don't have to like decide that everything's got to change by next week. You can do the 1% improvement. You can keep moving forward and just keep trusting that you will be taken care of. I know it can be scary, especially if money is an issue. But again, one of the things that really helped me is that idea of surrendering and trusting. So it's like, no matter what things looking like, just trusting that, the money will come from somewhere, and it'll be fine, and just keep moving forward.
Awesome. And I know you have a gift for everyone. Tell us a little bit about it.
So I've got it's the writer's toolkit, and so the reason why and I wanted to keep it a little bit vague, because I wanted to be able to add things to it as I created them. So you can grab that, and it's right now. One of the things it's got in there is how to market both your business, your nonfiction book, and your business. So it's a whole 25 ways. So it's a whole blueprint in there, and so it's just going to be. I really want to help people not only write their books, or write copy or write a blog or whatever they want to write, but not only write, but then also how to market and make money off of it. Because I mean, that is important too. I mean, if you don't want to make it, you can ignore that part of it, but that's part of the.
It's in there.
Yes, is really, because I mean, I've built multiple successful businesses. I make money with my fiction. My fiction is profitable. So, I mean, I'm building up a fiction business. I've made money with the nonfiction books, and I made money as a copywriter. So, I can really help you use your words to make money.
Excellent. Michele, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it too.
Awesome. We'll see you next time for another episode of Profitable Coaching Conversations. Remember to join the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with Wendy Y. Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from Wendy Y. and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.